Je pense que nous sommes très inquiets puisque nous savons ce que les militaires font
what armed groups do,
je pense
what
que
military does to women.
Vous posez la question de savoir quelle est la protection
Your question is
qui a
about
été
the protection for
Quelles sont les
women.
mesures qui sont
What
prises
measures
pour
have been
protéger les
taken
femmes?
to protect
Il n'y
women?
a pas de réponse.
And there is no
Et je
answer.
pense que laisser des milliers de militaires
There's
entrer dans
thousands
la
of
forêt,
militaries.
il n'y a aucun témoin, il n'y a personne.
There is no witness, there is nobody.
Moi, je me dis, toutes les femmes qui ont été violées,
I think all the
qu'on a
women who have
soignées,
been
qu'on a
raped,
réparées,
and
on
we have
risque de les
fixed
retrouver
them, we're going to
encore
find them
dans
again
la même situation,
in the same situation
dans quelques mois.
in a few
Il y a
months.
des forces de l'ONU sur place.
There are UN forces there.
Pourquoi on ne pouvait pas les associer à l'opération?
Why cannot
pour
they
beaucoup plus
be
de
associated
transparence?
to the situation
très
for more
inquiétant.
transparency?
Je suis très inquiet.
I'm very
parce que
worried.
Je pense qu'il n'y a pas de témoins de ce qui est en train
Because
de
there
se
are
passer.
no witnesses to what is going on
So
now.
what exactly has to happen, Dr. Mukwege?
Qu'est-ce qui doit se passer, docteur?
Moi, je pense que, pour le moment, je crois qu'il y a vraiment, il faut qu'il y ait une volonté.
There has to be a will,
On a
a
arrêté
decision.
Nkunda, c'est très bien.
It's
Mais
very
je
good
pense
that we
que
arrested
si
Nkunda,
c'est une action isolée,
but it's just one action.
si c'est une action isolée,
It's one
il y aura
act
encore un
isolated.
autre Nkunda et nous
And
allons
if it
continuer.
stays isolated, there would be
Je
another
pense que les
Nkunde.
responsables, les acteurs de la région des Grands Lacs
The
devraient
political
prendre les responsabilités.
actors have to take responsibility.
Là, il y a déjà plus de 5 millions de morts. On ne peut
There
pas
has
traiter
been
la
over
question
5 million dead
avec
people.
une certaine légèreté.
We cannot treat the situation lightly.
C'est grave.
It's a very big deal.
Et je crois qu'il faut qu'ils prennent les responsabilités.
And there has to be responsibilities
Il ne s'agit pas d'arrêter
taken.
quelqu'un.
It's
et
not
puis
just
créer
one
un autre
arrest
événement,
and have
et
one
la situation
event,
va continuer.
but the
Il faut que
situation
ça
is
soit
going to
une
remain the
volonté
same.
politique
There has to be a political will
d'arrêter
to stop these
le viol,
these
stopper la
atrocities,
guerre,
stop the
stopper,
rapes, stop the war,
de tuer les civils inutilement.
stop
Je
killing
crois que c'est
civilians.
ça, c'est une volonté politique.
We need political choice.
Eve Ensler.
I also think if Nkunda has been arrested, he needs to be extradited in the Congo and tried there so that people know there's justice. I think that the Congolese people must have control over the resources of their country, that so much of what's going on there has to do with the plundering and the taking of the mines, particularly for our cell phones and PlayStations with coltan. And if
Explain that for a second, what the resources are.
well, many of the mines are coltan mines. And that coltan goes into making cell phones and PlayStations and computers. And actually, much of the war has been escalated through that mining. And we in the West benefit, as we know, greatly from cell phones. So all those mines are controlled by rebel groups and militias who then get that to the Western and to Russia and to China and to all kinds of countries. If those resources were controlled by the Congolese people and put back into their power, things would shift in a very big way. If we were holding accountable leaders of the FDLR, for example, who were in France and who were outside of the country, and they were held as war criminals, so they couldn't control things.
FDLR standing for?
The Interahamwe, or the former genocidaires who came from Rwanda. If we were actually protecting women inside the country by putting more peacekeepers on the ground or by developing even a women's police force that could protect women inside the bush, I think it would be much better for women. There's no protection for women in the bush. When rebel soldiers go in, there's no cameras there. There are no eyes on those women. The rebel soldiers go in and they rape and they plunder. That's what soldiers do now. Why will they stop doing that? Why will 6,000 Rwandese troops do any differently than anyone did before? These are good soldiers. I mean, they're soldiers. That's what happens, particularly in a country where rape has essentially become a country sport. Not because all the men are rapists. A very small percentage of the men are rapists, but enough men are raping that they're actually impacting many, many women.
Eve Ensler and Dr. Denis Mukwege are our guests. Dr. Denis Mukwege founded the Panzi Hospital, one of the only hospitals in Congo, it's in the eastern Congo, that's dealing with this mass rape of women and girls. Eve Ensler, founder of V-Day, wrote the Vagina Monologues, is the leader of this international movement, this global movement against violence against women and girls. We'll be back in a minute.
kitoko yozali ya mama. Moi mwatongo mwa ebale senga kaka otambolaka malembe. Pesa motema nazongisa motema. Mikolo mingi mileki nazangi yo. Kanisa esikotikinga na sima na vandanga na nani tosululaka.
Bilia Bell singing Kelia here on Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report for our radio listeners. We are playing images during our break and during this broadcast of major protests that took place. Our guests are Eve Ensler, award-winning playwright, creator of the Vagina Monologues, and V-Day. They are launching today on Democracy Now! This 5-city Pain to Power tour to raise awareness about rape in the Congo. We're also joined by Dr. Denis Mukwege, who is the founder of the Panzi Hospital, to help thousands of girls and women who are the victims of rape in eastern Congo and this resource war with the invading forces being Uganda and Rwanda. Eve Ensler, the protest that took place in Congo.
Well, 2 years ago, with local groups on the ground and with wonderful women activists there and with the help of UNICEF, V-Day, we all came together and we created this campaign called Stop Raping Our Greatest Resource, Power to the Women and the Girls of the DRC. And that campaign has proved to be quite powerful, and I really feel there is a revolution brewing with women on the ground. And in the last 2 years, we've seen major demonstrations in the street last November that occurred, November before this November, that occurred in Goma and Bunia and Bukavu, and we saw 8,000, 10,000 women in each city. And then this year, we did public testimonies where brave women came forward in Goma and Bukavu, and they shared the first time they broke the silence and shared the horrible stories of what had been done to them in front of hundreds of officials. It was extraordinary. And what was really extraordinary was to see how many men came and how moved men were, and how communities wept together and really heard the stories be told publicly, which really broke some essential denial and taboo. And now we're seeing activists educating all through the bush, talking about the issues, mobilizing. They're going to do a Breaking the Silence event in Kinshasa now. And I think in the next 2 to 5 years, if the campaign continues, which it will, with resources and support, we will see major change and major revolution happening, because the women are fierce. And we're opening a place called the City of Joy, which will be a project of Panzi, which will be a facility, a center, which will really turn pain to power and support women who have been horribly tortured and abused to become the next leaders of the DRC.
Talk more about the City of Joy, Dr. Mukwege.
Lorsque nous prenons en charge les femmes à l'hôpital,
when we take care of women at the
ce
hospital,
sont des femmes qui sont non seulement
these
qui ont des
women
plaies physiques, mais elles
are
ont
wounded
aussi de traumatismes
physically, but are also
profonds,
traumatized
psychologiques.
profoundly.
Et vous savez, on ne peut pas comme ça
And it's not
comme
possible
une plaie,
just like that
soigner
to cure
un
them.
trauma. Ça prend du temps.
It takes time,
Et parfois, très
sometimes
longtemps.
a lot of time.
Comme on ne peut pas les chasser de l'hôpital,
We
les
cannot
renvoyer
kick
dans
them
la
out
rue,
of the hospital.
on avait besoin d'un endroit
So we needed a place
où les femmes peuvent rester
where women can stay,
pour être prises en charge
to
sur
be
le
taken
plan
care of,
psychologique et pour en fait les entraîner
and
à une
to train them
réinsertion sociale sur le plan
to
économique,
reinsert socially,
mais aussi leur donner la capacité
and to
de
give them
reprendre
the
leur dignité
possibility and the
pour être
ability
capables
to take
de
care
se
of
battre
themselves
dans la vie,
and to be
puisqu'ils
able
ont la
to
capacité.
fight in life, because they do
Et
have
j'ai
the
vu
capability of doing this.
transformations
I have seen
incroyables.
amazing transformations.
Un potentiel dans les femmes que je ne peux
There is
pas
an
imaginer.
enormous potential in
Les
women
femmes
that
qui
I
arrivent
did not imagine.
complètement détruites,
They arrive completely destroyed,
et luttent contre la
and they
vie
fight.
et la mort.
and they fight
Mais
between life and
après,
death.
vous les retrouvez avec une force.
But afterwards, they have an incredible
La
strength.
cité de la joie va les
The
redonner
City of
cette
Joy
possibilité
will give them this
d'être à un endroit où
possibility
on peut les aider à dire on vous a
to
blessé,
say
on
what
a
happened to
essayé de
them,
vous détruire,
to tell that
restez fort, vous êtes
people have
fort,
tried to
vous êtes digne,
destroy them,
et
but
vous pouvez vous battre.
we can tell them that they're strong and can fight.
I want to find out about the support you're getting in this country. The American medical establishment,